yeah, so I thought, well, maybe I should have been the one doing the role, but they had other ideas, and they kind of like got a management team, and I ended up being the goalkeeper coach for the club. Anyway, I got organised the pre-season again. I got told off that the games were too hard and we should have focused on different things. I got them a few players and so on, and which were good enough. But even though I attracted this deal to Brickfield and attracted all this and this to it, and people, and it was going good and it was great for the club and so on, I felt like Andrew Ruscoe myself was being kind of like pushed away, and yeah, I felt like that I was just apart from him, and it was just someone that had to be there. So I ended up started. Came to what had really happened is that, remember, I was still volunteering as well at the club and doing schoolwork for him, doing the girls project for him, got that up and running and so on. But I came into a game one day, and one of the, not naming them, but one of the managers turned around and said it was over a bin. And I've never believed that I'm better than anyone. Don't get me wrong, I believe in my ability, but I've never believed in anyone, and I wasn't too good to go and brush something or anything like that. But come in and said he went mental over the bin. I resolved this years later anyway, and we're good friends and everything. But he went, "What is this bin doing it? It's overfilled. It's a disgust. It's a disgrace. This place. I having a go at me like it was my duty and my fault. Like I didn't even know about it. I'd been working hard all day in the schools. So I decided to start looking for, you know, for other work, like full-time work. Because I thought, well, again, it's not the right attitude, but hang on, I'm better than the bin taker. Again, as a volunteer now, and everything, I've come totally the other way, and I am, even then, I did think that, everyone jumps in and tucks in and does it, and you should never moan or shout or anyone over it. But I didn't like this prima donna attitude. But I thought, well, if you're going to come out with a prima donna attitude at me, I'm going to go and show you that I am better than that, and I'm going to go and get in somewhere else. And I ended up getting a full-time job at Chester FC with their community trust. Great interview with some guys, Jim Green and everything. But great for my career. Question my mentality back of it. Was it the right way of doing it? Probably not. And I got a full-time job at Chester FC, and I thought it was great. It was, you know, I was able to set up things like the old satellites that I talked about on the first video, but we called it the PDC because Jim came to me and said, "Oh, we need a player development centre like this," and I said, "Okay, let's go and do it." And we got that up and running. I think I was the player development host or whatever you call it at the time, and we got that up and running, and we had from under sixes level all the way up to under 16s. Steph did a girls one, and I was the school's partnership coordinator. I was supporting on the Saturdays for the match days, and that kind of limited my time then with Brickfield that season. And it's when I started becoming ill at this point with palindromic rheumatism, which I didn't know about it until, what was it? I think it was 2021 I found out. And we're talking 2016-17. So I'm working for Chester, we're doing mental health football, got that up and running for them. But I was offered, I'm quite open to this, I was offered £18,000 a year. And there was a lad who I was mentoring at the time, and through Brickfield, and hence why we became Club of the Year and stuff like that. He became Junior Coach of the Year, and he was doing great work, and we were like a double team and everything. And because he was a younger lad, I was able to mentor him and so on with the coaching. But when I lent to Chester, I felt like I was, how can I put it? I felt like I was progressing, and I think this is where my change in mentality is, that if I progress, everyone's got to progress, kind of thing. So you grab them and you bring them with you. So I walked into the office after doing some coaching, And I went to Jim and I said, look, listen, Jim, I want to bring this lad in, and I'll take a pay cut of 13,000 for me to bring in this young man to the club. I said he's a great young man. He doesn't drive at the moment. He was my number 2 at BR in the community. He's dedicated. He deserves the opportunity. And that young man was Calvin and Williams, and he's been there ever since. And I've just seen the other day he's become the women's first team manager. And do you know what? Congratulations, Calvin. I'm absolutely proud. It's great to see where you've ended up by that moment that happened back then. And do you know what? I'm buzzing for you, mate. You know, keep going. Just say hi now and again. But that happened anyway. So we're back at Bricky, and Bricky were chasing the league, and I started getting a bit more distant from it. And they lost the league on the not the final day. They lost that league that year, and then they went season 2. I was only doing the youth futsal at the time anyway for the club, and then they lost the league on the final game of the season against Buckley on the year after. But in the meantime, I wasn't playing. I was playing futsal, so I started focusing on the men's futsal side of it. That was going really well. We got to the FAW futsal finals. I think it's the highest at any sport, futsal and football, Brickfield have ever got to. And I was able to do that alongside a guy called Hugo Gomez, who he was brilliant. He went off and done his own thing in the end in Ruscoe, Cymru. And I think we got next minute, Gary Jewis pulled out because Dave Norman had left. They'd gone to Rill at this time, and he basically they got to by Christmas and they weren't going to win the league. They had a few characters in at the club, and I had nothing to do with this. And they did ask me to get involved, but I just felt a bit deflated by it all from 2 years prior. And next minute, they pulled the budget. So it came to the underdog mentality then. So I was asked, will I come back in and try and get the team? You're going to be like manager. I thought, yeah, okay. I told them I started going getting players, having pictures, saying we're on the up. We've lost all these players, but I tell you what, we're going to keep them up. We're going to get some players, and I did it. And did the job, manager, helping. And next minute, I didn't really get the job. I think they kept saying someone else was, but I'd gone and got all these players, and but we stayed up. Great news, the club stayed up. That was what we wanted. So we kept Brickfield up again for playing days and everything. But then next minute we got no budget, and I went and attracted another budget. Thanks to Trafford FC of all people, a team that I brought back to Brickfield to play Melody Stevens. He said to me, "Have you thought about this guy called Soccer Million? He's from Wrexham." He went and gave us a budget. He's given us a budget of 750 quid a game. It was great. So, but we went and got a manager in, and because I went sporting director at this point, but it just didn't work out. It just didn't work out the way it was. Results weren't going the way it was, and they'd asked him to step down. And we went with the youth managers who had come through the club to take the reins on. I was asked then to go manager, but I decided, because he was my guy that we brought in, and because he was asked to step down, I said, listen, I'll let the reserve manager step up, and I will go to the reserves, because I'm getting more and more about loyalty, and I started thinking about how people feel when people playing in my position in goal, taking my place, and I didn't want to look like a as they call it, shit house, because it was me who had to tell the manager that he was being asked to step down, and I thought, well, he's my guy. It's obviously I failed as well, so it's time for me to move aside, and